So here's the exact method I use to book business class flights for the price of economy and stay in 5-star hotels for a fraction of the cost.
There's a lot of money at stake, even at a smaller spend.
If you open 10 credit cards that year, which each have, let's say, $1,000 worth of points or cashback, then you're already at $10,000, just in $10,000 just in credit card sign-up bonuses, not accounting for the spend. But if you learn to earn and burn, if you learn to burn them right, you can get up to $10,000 worth of value with just 250,000 of Amex points. It's nothing illegal or anything. It's just buying stuff and reselling it, basically. That helps you achieve some minimum spend requirements that are up to 20 to 30K in 3 months sometimes.
Welcome back to another episode of Talking Expat Taxes. If this is your first time joining, my name is Alex McGowin. I'm the owner of McGowin Tax LLC, where we help individuals and small businesses with their international tax compliance and planning. Today I have a special guest. We're going to do something a little different than I've done in the past, where we're not specifically talking about taxes and tax residency and things like that. We're actually going to be talking about credit cards. I got to talking to Alex, who's with us today, about this, especially if you're traveling a lot, which a lot of the people I work with, people watching this podcast, or expats traveling a lot, spending time in hotels. I'm very bad about playing the credit card game wisely. And so I'm hoping we'll get some schooling here on what we can do to save money on how we spend money at the end of the day. But I'm going to turn it over to you here, Alex. Let you give some background into what you've been doing and what we're going to talk about here today more specifically.
Awesome. Well, to thank you for schooling me on taxes, I'm happy to give some value to the audience in the first few minutes, and then we can see how you can optimize your credit card game more specifically. Just a brief introduction is I'm Alex. I'm half French, half American, and I live abroad. So US citizen expat. When it comes to optimizing credit cards, I learned quite a bit the game because I've been involved in it for a good year now, almost full time, because I really wanted to figure this out because there's so much, it's so life-changing. It's so life-changing to really delve deep into this topic. I'll just give the TLDR on how to earn and burn credit cards points in the best possible way, and then we can dive into your specific situation, as I said. How's that sound?
That sounds awesome. I mean, yeah, whatever you can teach us. Yeah, let's start just with your basic strategy or what you're doing, and I can kind of tell you what I'm doing wrong.
Cool.
What I'm doing is basic.
All right, let's get into it right after this. So here's the exact method I use to book business class flights for the price of economy and stay in 5-star hotels for a fraction of the cost. And this opportunity is only available for people who are in the US banking system. And so all your audience who are mostly, either US expats or non-resident aliens who have US businesses, they usually have a SSN or a ITIN, so they have access to this banking system. And the US banking system is truly the best banking system in the world in terms of how profitable it can be to use the system. To use the system to your advantage, you just need to learn the game right. So there are two parts to it. There's the earning part and the burning part. So you want to, sorry, I'm outside and there's some bugs. So for the earning part, the TLDR is that you want to accumulate, well, except if you have $1 million or more in spend per year, which is not every business, if you have 1 million or more per year, you can accumulate, let's say, an average of 2%, which would be $20K more or less worth of cashback points per year. But if you have less, it's the method that makes the most sense is to accumulate sign-up bonuses. So you need to sign up to new credit cards every other month.
Oh, okay. And before you move on, what is TLDR?
Oh, TLDR is too long, didn't read. So it's like a summary, the nugget of information you want to remember.
Okay, I got you. Just wanted to make sure I was understanding that. I thought that was some like a credit card related acronym.
No, it's just a Reddit term. Too long, didn't read.
Right. Okay. I'm showing my age in this, not knowing my acronyms. But yeah. So go ahead. Okay. So So yeah, if you don't have like this really high spend, I mean, you're going to get cash back regardless of your spend. But the big points when you have a lower spend is going to be sign up bonuses.
Exactly. You're totally allowed to sign up to new credit cards every month if you wanted to. There are some specific rules for certain card issues, like Chase doesn't like it too much when you open too many credit cards. But in general, if you wanted to, you could open new credit cards every other month. And if someone's business is only spending 100K a year, 2% of that would be $2,000, which is all right, but which is not life changing. But
Right.
if you split those $100,000 into different credit cards that you open, because each credit card has a minimum spend requirement that you need to reach in a certain amount of time to unlock the sign-up bonus.
Right.
If you open 10 credit cards that year, which each have let's say $1,000 worth of points or cashback, then you're already at $10,000, just in $10,000 just in credit card sign-up bonuses, not accounting for the spend. So for most people, really what they should be focusing on is accumulating new sign-up bonuses.
What's a typical sign up bonus? Is it like really varied on different types of sign up bonuses, or are they pretty standard?
Yeah, it depends on the type of card. Obviously, there's some tiny sign-up bonuses for some entry-level cards, but for the most famous card, I think, is the American Express Platinum card, which that one has a insane sign-up bonus. It's 250,000 membership reward points, which is if you value the points at 1 cent per point, it's about $2,500. But if you learn how to burn, the earn and burn, if you learn to burn them right, you can get up to $10,000 worth of value with just 250,000 points of Amex points.
Because I had the platinum, and then now I have this guy. I got the
American
SkyMiles
Express
one.
SkyMiles, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the reason I don't know. Honestly, my wife is she was kind of managing the credit card thing, and I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention, but she liked the benefits, the specific travel benefits with the SkyMiles one. So we switched from the Platinum to the SkyMiles, but I don't think we were playing the game as far as the sign-on bonuses very well when we did that. But
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically the only credit card I use. I have this Delta SkyMiles card, and I want to say there was some big perk once I hit like $40,000 of expenses on it or something. But
Yeah.
I can't remember what that is exactly. But yeah, so I mean, the Amex is kind of the best known for perks in general. I don't know if it's just travel, but it's kind of perks in general, right?
So I'd say all the credit cards, the way to get the most value out of them is by using them for travel, using the points for travel.
Yeah.
But there are different ways that you want to use the points more specifically to get the most value. So in your example, yeah, there are different cards that make the most sense for certain people to use. But for example, maybe if you travel a lot with American Airlines and you like the airline, but really, I think it is needed to really get the most juice out of this game is to detach from any one credit card and just focus on getting sign-up bonus after sign-up bonus and closing the card after 1 year. We can get into the details of that a bit later, but just to finish,
it's like figuring out what the spend is to hit the maximum sign-up bonus for that card, and then move on to the next one, basically.
Yeah. You need a very close monitoring of what you open and when in a spreadsheet. It takes a bit of upfront effort, but the hourly rate you can get up to, if you compute the hourly rate based on how much value you get, is incredible. Like normal people can get an hourly rate of $200, $300 or more once they set up their system properly, which is hard to beat unless you're like a doctor, a lawyer, or CEO, or a business owner of a very successful business. And so this is
Yeah.
usually a great return on time invested if you put in the time in the beginning.
So let's talk about a system, for example, because like I'm thinking you have to know when your big expenses are, right? Like for my business, my biggest expense is technology and software. So
Yeah.
like I generally will renew my software programs at the beginning of the year, and that's a big expense that I can put on a credit card. So if I
Hmm.
know that in advance, I can use a promotional card right before I have that expense, pay it
Yeah.
off, and then
Hmm.
burn on to the next one. So it's kind of planning out when do you have your big expenses each year and matching that up with a new credit card and promotional bonus, I think.
Yeah, that's definitely one way to go. Then there are also other ways to manufacture spend. There's literally a term called manufactured spending. It's not nothing
Yeah.
illegal or anything. It's just buying stuff and reselling it basically, and that helps you achieve or unlock, reach some minimum spend requirements that are up to 20 to 30K in 3 months sometimes. But yeah, if you can
Right.
do it with your organic spend, since you're a business owner, super busy already with your accounting firm, then it's a good idea to definitely, when you have a big expense coming up, open a new credit card just before that and put everything on the new card for sure.
Right. I'm thinking another one. I mean, this doesn't apply to me, but I have a lot of businesses that I work with that have subsidiaries. So related parties. So if you have a U.S. company and say you have a subsidiary in India or somewhere where you share expenses, that's where you could really start manufacturing expenses, right? Not that you're making up an expense, but if you already have expenses, you guess you have more flexibility over those expenses. So you could pay yourself with those credit cards and then pay it off, And I have a client that does that very well. They have a subsidiary in Africa and they buy things on behalf of their subsidiary in Africa and their big purchases that they can put on these new credit cards, and they burn these credit cards as they go, and then the subsidiary pays them back. It takes there's some work there because especially with subsidiaries, you can't just, there has to be an arm's length transaction. So you can't just start buying things on behalf of your subsidiary because you have a credit card. They have to pay you back, and you have to look at it as if they're third party transactions. But it's doable, and like you said, if you think about the time cost versus benefit, it can definitely be worth it.
Yeah. The challenge with doing manufactured spending with your own entity is that there's usually a processing fee that eats up the rewards. So if you're using Stripe to pay yourself, because there's not many ways to take a credit card payment without paying a fee. So
Right.
that's one challenge. Then it becomes buying points, where you're buying points at a certain rate, but you're not generating free rewards, quote unquote. You're actually paying for it, but it can be interesting in certain situations.
Right. So, I mean, for someone like me, let's say, I mean, most of my costs are technology and then services,
Yeah,
employees, contractors, and things like that, which I can't really put on a credit card. I'm sure I
yeah.
can find a way that I could. But, like, let's say my spend is $100,000 a year. Like, what do you recommend? Like, right now, I'm just using one credit card for those expenses. I'm really not paying a lot of attention to it. Every once in a while, I'll go book a flight and realize that I can that I have some points I can book the flight with. That's about as like
Hmm.
technical as I'm getting with this. I mean, what do you recommend? What is a better way to go about it? Like in a case like
So,
mine, I guess.
so how much of that is paying contractors or employees compared to paying software? Because
Of
when
the
you're, yeah,
Yeah, I would say, let's say that the non-employee part, let's say 75,000 is my spend. That's a credit cardable spend.
okay, well, in that case, you try to plan out when you're going to have the big expenses and open a credit card right before that. That's definitely the way to go.
Yeah.
And actually, it makes sense to take a cost when you're working on a sign-up bonus. So, for example, there are ways to pay your employees or contractors with a credit card through certain websites or services. One of them, the most famous payroll provider, is called a Square, and you can pay your employees with a credit card. They just charge a 3% fee. But if you're working towards a sign up bonus, that will give you, let's say it's $20,000 minimum spend requirement in 3 months, and they will give you 200,000 points, which is worth 2,000. So it's 10%. Yeah, it would be 10% back. But you can,
Right.
let's just make it simple, because those points are usually worth much more than that. But just to make it simple, we'll take 10%. If you pay a 3% fee to spend that money, then you just reduce your earning rate to 7%, which is still pretty good. So it's still possible to use the payments you make to your employees or contractors through a payment processing platform and take a loss, but still make it useful in the context of a sign-up bonus.
Right. Do you know if Stripe is one of those you can also use for?
I don't know if Stripe does payroll, but maybe. I'm not sure if it
Yeah, I
does
don't
payroll.
think so. Yeah, I need to look into that. I was going to look at my rewards now just while we're on the phone.
Sure.
So I'm looking at my, like my Delta SkyMiles right now, rewards summary. I'm trying to see like if I've already hit whatever bonus I had, because I guess that's the key thing is seeing if you've already hit the bonus. Because right now it's saying I have like 200,000 miles.
How many?
I have like 200,000 miles. Well, no, I have 170,000 Sky Miles I've earned, and 129 of those were earned since January 1st. But I think I haven't had the card that long. So where's my rewards and benefits dashboard? I think I just only earn miles
Well,
in
yeah.
mine.
How long ago did you
Offers.
open the card?
Yeah, probably like 6 months ago.
So usually, minimum spend requirement is you need to reach the.
It looks like I got a $10,000 bonus after spending 2,500 in purchases in the first 6 months.
10,000 miles, you mean?
10,000 bonus miles, yes. But I don't really see much else as far as like bonus stuff I got.
Usually, yeah, they don't give you a tracker to see because they don't want you to reach the bonus. So they don't give you like a tracker. Yeah, that's
Right.
why.
So I need to go back and look at the original like offer or promotional offer that I signed up for. Maybe I signed up without one. I don't know. I don't really remember.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with the Delta cards, but one key distinction. So if we talked mostly about the earning side, which is, accumulating sign-up bonuses or putting a very high amount of spend on the cards. Those are the two methods to earn a lot of points. And then on the burning side, there's a key distinction is between transferable points and fixed points. Points and miles can be used interchangeably here. So in the transferable points or miles and fixed points or miles. So Delta SkyMiles are fixed. You can only use them with Delta, which is fine if you fly a Delta a lot. But let's say, for example,
see, for me, I have to, where I live, I have to go through Atlanta to do anything. So I almost entirely fly Delta.
Yeah, right. Because I think that's a Delta hub, so most likely makes sense for you.
Exactly.
But I think Delta makes most sense for domestic travel, not too much for international travel. But let's say you wanted to book an international flight to Europe, and you look at the Delta flights, and the best business class option is around 150 miles for one way. And if you only have Delta miles, you'll feel like it's a good deal. But if you compare to other airlines, you might find a one-way flight in business to Europe for 60K miles with Air France. So you can't use a fixed points or miles currency in another airline. You need a transferable points currency. Like there are 4 of them, I believe, the main ones, or 5. It's Amex membership rewards, Chase Ultimate rewards, Citi thank you points, Bilt. So those are associated with the bank, not with the airline or hotel. And these you can transfer them to any transfer partner you want. So if you have if you have 100K membership rewards from Amex, you can transfer them to Air France and then book your business class flights with the best rates, compared to if you only have Delta miles, then you're stuck with Delta.
Right. See, one thing I was curious though is if you get the let's say you sign up for some Chase card and you hit the promotional offer and you get all these points, and then you just want to move to the next card, do you not lose the points when you move to the next card? Or is that what you're saying? You can transfer them over to another card, or you need to cash out the points. Either cash them out if it's a cash point system. I don't know. Like, is that a problem, I guess? Like managing not losing the points when you get rid of the card.
So as long as you have another card with that issuer, you will not, well, sometimes this is like, there's a caveat here, but let's say in general, if you have another card with that issuer, you can close that card and you'll keep the points. So.
Okay. So like, because I guess what like my brain goes to thinking, because I do a lot of bookkeeping work, and when clients come to me and they have 13 credit cards, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a nightmare. So I'm always thinking like, how do I also make it like simple from a bookkeeping perspective?
Right.
But so you're saying maybe a better option is like, I have a Delta card, but there's multiple. I mean, I have a Amex, and there's multiple different Amexes that you can use. So I could keep a standard Amex, but then kind of churn and burn different Amexes and keep the points, throughout, exactly. As opposed to like using different, like, I mean, you can do that too, but like, I don't want to like get a Chase card solely for the points and cancel the Chase card because I might lose those points. I would need to keep some card with Chase.
Yeah, one thing you could do is downgrade the card to a no annual fee card after 1 year. Like that, you have one card that will maintain whichever points.
Right, because I do pay a lot. I pay a lot for that Amex Delta SkyMiles. I can't remember what it is, but I mean, it's several $100s per card.
Yeah, that's you're touching on annual fees, and there's ways to offset the annual fees, but you just need to keep, again, careful records of what the benefits are and make sure you use them so that it offsets the annual fee.
Right. So what would you suggest just as a baseline? Like if somebody, let's say they don't have that big of a spend. Let's say they spend $25,000 a year on credit cards and it's mostly travel. Let's say $50,000 and it's mostly travel. And right now they're not using any credit cards. Like what would you suggest just as a starting point for someone like that?
Well, first I would ask why you're only putting your travel spend on your credit cards. Why are you not putting all your spend? That's the first question I'd ask.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's say we do that and that gets them, because I mean, most of the clients that I work with, they really don't spend. They're like, if you're in a personal service type business, like if you're an expat working abroad in personal service industry, I mean, basically you have some software, you buy a computer and you travel around. That's really your expenses.
Yeah.
You're working for yourself. So people like that, what would you suggest with a low spend like that?
So for the people with low spend, you probably need, you can maybe reach a few sign-up bonuses per year, but maybe it will be hard for those type of people to reach the big sign-up bonuses that require 20K spend in 3 months. So in that case, you would have to get into some methods to increase your spend. And two, let's say, more or less mainstream ways to do it is one, gift card reselling, and the second is buying groups, which is I do a bit of both of them. But you have some I'll put it like this: you have some buying groups where that will buy gift cards from you. And this could sound confusing for anyone watching who has never heard of this, but I'll put it very simply. There are some groups, there are some businesses whose whole business is to buy gift cards from you and sell them at a bit higher price on another platform to general consumers. So what the person with the credit card would do is so sign up for this gift card buying group website. The website will send you offers and tell you, go buy these gift cards from Best Buy because they're on sale right now. They'll tell you right now that at Best Buy, there's a gift card sale where you can buy Best Buy gift cards for 15% off. So either you go in person or online, you buy, let's say, $1,000 worth of gift cards, and then you get the codes, you log in the website of the gift card broker, because that's what it is. It's a gift card broker. You enter the codes in their online platform, and then they take ownership of the gift card, and then they pay you because you send them the gift card. They can verify the balance of the gift card, and then they list it on the marketplace where end consumers can buy them for, say, 10%. So you bought it at 15%, you sold it at 15%, so you didn't lose any money, but you keep the credit card rewards. And then they sell it at 10% off, so they make a 5% profit. So you can accumulate.
You're doing a clean swap purely for the credit card rewards, so that could get you. If you don't have if you're not going to spend $20,000, for example, in 3 months, you could use these type of platforms to get there. What's an example of a platform out there that does that sort of thing?
So there are three main ones: Aligned Incentives, the Card Bay, and Card Center. Those are the three main ones. Those are gift cards.
Have you ever experienced a situation where you get stuck with gift cards that you don't want?
No, because all the gifts
because you're buying them, you're only buying them at a discount. So I mean, so you're only buying them if they're discounted. So somebody's going to purchase them at a discount, even if it's a lesser discount later.
Yeah.
You know. Okay, very interesting. So I mean, quickly, because I only have a few more minutes here, but so that's the credit card piece. What about hotels specifically? Like if you're more specific to travel, like do you do hotel specific credit cards? Like, what Hilton has a big credit card that's very popular. And I'm sure there's others. Marriott Bonvoy is a big one,
Yep.
What do you do for hotels specifically?
So again, on the highest level, you have the banks that have transferable points currencies that you can transfer down to many different partners. Some of those partners are airlines, some of those partners are hotels. And then you can get co-branded credit cards, which are with the airlines or with the hotels, but they have fixed currencies. And so the gold standard is always...
So your preference is the transferable at the top, right? Because then you have more flexibility as to what you use them for. Or it just depends, I guess. But
yeah, as a general rule, it's definitely better because you can also get transfer bonuses where sometimes the partners will increase the value of the transfer by 30%, so you can get more value out of the transferable points. But sometimes it also makes sense to get the co-branded credit cards. For example, the Hilton Aspire card, it has it's the most premium Hilton card, which is with American Express, and they have like a $600 or $700 annual fee, but they give you some free night certificates that you can use at any hotel, no matter the price. Some hotels are worth like more than $1,000 a night, and you can use that free night certificate there. So in certain cases, it makes sense to get co-branded credit cards, depending on your travel plans.
Right, exactly. Okay, very interesting. I guess it's a balance at the end of the day, right? As to, the time and effort that you're going to spend on these and the complexity of juggling the cards versus the benefits you're getting. But there's a lot of money at stake, even at a smaller spend. What do you think, what would you estimate the value of doing a strategy like this for someone that only has like a $25,000 spend? Or I guess one of those cards, if you get to like a single $20,000 sign-on bonus, like what is the general reward for something like that? I'm just trying to think of like what the value is to see like, is it worth it or not for smaller businesses?
Yeah. So let's take an example. Do we assume that the business does buying groups, or do we assume he doesn't?
Yeah, let's say no at first, and then maybe we can tack that on to see what the additional benefit would be if they did do that.
Okay. So let's take an example. Very small business, 20K spend per year, or 10K spend every 6 months, which is not enough to accumulate enough spend for the big sign-on bonuses. You still have, let's say you can get if you have a few credit cards already, because the premium credit cards, which have the highest sign-up bonuses, they will usually not be given to you if you don't have enough credit cards already, because the banks don't want to give you too much. But let's say you have a few credit cards and you are applied for the Chase Sapphire Reserve card, which is the most premium card with Chase, which is equivalent to the Amex Plat. And right now it has $125,000 bonus, which is smaller than Amex, but still very valuable. So let's take 100,000 just for the ease of use, ease of access. And let's say with 100,000 URs, ultimate rewards, that's the transferable point currency of Chase. With 100,000 URs, you can book 2 business class flights to Europe, which would be worth $5,000 each. And you can book them. So it's $10,000 worth of value. And so basically this is the highest value you can pull from these 100,000 points. Yours is about
You're getting, and how are you getting those points from the Chase system? That's just for signing up, or is there a spend limit for that one?
Yeah, right. So there's I missed the first part. I didn't address the specific part of low spend. So the personal card, this is a personal card, not a business card. And this one has a $6,000 in 3 months, or maybe a bit more. $6,000 in 3 months. And you get 100K points. So you could book 2 business class flights to Europe with that.
Oh, nice. Okay. And then you could take that, because that card is going to have, a several $100 fee a year, right? To sign up. Mm-hmm. So then after you hit that limit, you can switch to a different Chase card. Like you could pay that off and switch to a different lower fee or no fee Chase card and keep the points. Is that a strategy, like a very basic strategy you could do?
Yeah, that's the basic strategy, but very important. You need to wait a full year before you downgrade it, because otherwise they might claw back the sign-up bonus.
All right, so I hope you got some value out of that. That was a little different episode, but very interesting to hear. I know I'm definitely not getting the benefit of the credit card that I'm using currently. And I think there's a lot of value there for sure if you're diligent enough to keep up with it. Make sure to talk to your bookkeeper so they understand the different cards that you're using throughout. But yeah, I'm definitely going to give it a shot and try to figure out a better way to maximize the benefits of these credit cards. And yeah, if you have other questions about this, reach out to me. I'll be playing with it a little bit to figure out, what's a good fit for my business. Lower spend, it seems like there's some games you can play with using these buyer groups. That sounds a little bit complicated, but could definitely be worth it. If it gets you across that threshold of that higher spend and getting into a bigger rewards category. But yeah, I'm going to be trying it out. If you have questions, let me know. I don't claim to be an expert. I don't work with any of these credit card companies, and just for disclosure, I'm getting nothing out of this from them, and neither is Alex, as far as I know. But yeah, thanks for listening, and reach out if you have questions. But yeah, thanks for listening, and reach out if you have questions.